What's going on, ultralighters? Chad Parks here. I'm filling in for Al, and today I'm doing a video on the top 5 ways that you can become the most popular guy on trail. Now, I know most of you have gone out on the trail, or you're going to be going out on the trail soon, and you're wondering how I'm going to make friends. Well, take it from me, I'm going to give you all the advice you need to make friends on trail. My first tip for you is to give people lectures on the gear that they should be using. If you give people unsolicited advice on the gear they should be using, what you're doing is you're not waiting for these shy people to come up to you and say, oh, you're obviously using the best gear, I can see what you're doing, because they're nervous and they're scared and they're not used to going up to pros like you who know exactly what you're doing when it comes to backpacking gear. It's clear that what these people did was they got $1,000 together, went into REI and just said to the sales assistant, just kit me out with whatever, I don't care, I'm not going to do any research. But you've spent thousands of hours researching stuff, watching videos, looking at gear reviews. You know better than anybody else on trail what gear you need to be using. You're the one with the knowledge. You know better than anybody else what is the best ultralight tent, what are the best ultralight trekking poles. You know better than anybody else how to hike the trail. You may not have hiked before, but you know. So make sure that you go up to people and tell them what gear they should be using. Tell them the gear that they've bought is rubbish, because they need to know the hard truths. So that is a good way to make friends on trail, is to be the source of knowledge. The second thing you can do is take a Bluetooth speaker with you on trail. Now, I'm usually an ultralighter to the core. I'll do whatever it takes to be ultralight, but sometimes you have to do the world a favor, and that's take a Bluetooth speaker with you, hang it off the outside of your pack and put it on max volume. Who has the best music taste in the world? Well, you do, of course. So why not act like a traveling DJ and fill the air with your badass playlist? You'll not only be playing all the music that people should be listening to, but you'll be educating everyone on trail on music that they've never heard of before, because they're not as educated when it comes to music as you are. If they were as educated on music as you were, then they would be listening to it on their own speakers. The fact that they're not playing music on Bluetooth speakers means that they have nothing to contribute to the music going on trail. You know what people really appreciate? It's when they've got to the top of a massive mountain and they've summited and they've got this beautiful vista laid out in front of them, but you're already there leaning up against a rock with your Bluetooth speaker on maximum, blasting out middle of the road post 9/11 country music, or heavy drum and bass, or apocalyptic trance music for everyone within a half-mile radius to hear. Those people that are there that are lucky enough to share the summit with you will always have your music as a soundtrack to their memories of these very special places. My third tip for being popular on trail is to make sure that you take all of the best food and drink from all of the trail magic that you happen to come across. If the other hikers on trail are tempted to eat that food instead of the food in their pack, what they're doing is they're not reducing their pack weight as they go. They are keeping that food in their pack and going to be holding on to more weight for longer. Instead of letting them get tempted by all this delicious food at Trail Magic, make sure that you overstay your welcome and you eat as much as you can possibly manage. And if you can't eat all of the best and delicious food right there and then, make sure that you pack it out. Pack all of that stuff into your own pack, and then you can eat that delicious food instead of other people struggling carrying more pack weight for longer. Similarly, if there's a cooler full of really good drinks like sodas and beers, take that with you, pack it all out. Make sure that nobody is tempted to have unhealthy drinks on your watch. When people discover that they missed out on all of these great drinks at Trail Magic because you took them with you, they won't be angry with you, they'll be happy, because they'll know that all you were doing was encouraging them to be more healthy and just drink water. I encourage you to take all the sodas and beers with you, but if you see yoo-hoos, leave those there, because you do need to give people a little bit of choice other than the water that they're carrying. The fourth way to be popular on trail is to fearmonger. Make sure that you get onto gut hooks and spread rumors throughout the trail that the next big hill or the next river crossing is going to be the absolute worst. Make sure that the people think that the next thing they're going to tackle is going to be by far the most treacherous thing that they've ever seen. Now, we both know that that isn't true. That mountain isn't any different to any other mountain that they've done in the past, but people need to think that. And there are two reasons why. The first one is, if they tackle it and they think it's a breeze, they're going to think, oh, I'm an amazing hiker. That thing was supposed to be really, really bad and I got through it and it was a breeze. So if they think that, What you're doing is you're basically giving them reassurance. It's like in that film Inception with Leo DiCaprio. They couldn't tell people in the dreams what to do. They had to make it think it was their own idea. You can't tell people that they're great hikers, so never tell someone that they're a great hiker, but just do it psychologically. Make them think that. When they've read that gut hooks comment that says that this mountain is going to be the worst thing since Everest, and they get up there and they go, oh, that wasn't that bad, they'll think automatically, it wasn't that bad because I'm a great hiker, and you're doing them a favor. The alternative is, if they don't believe that they're a great hiker, what you're doing is you're teaching them not to believe other people's viewpoints and to form their own opinion based off their own experiences. So what you're doing is you're teaching them life lessons. If you hear someone at camp say, I read a comment on Guthook saying that mountain was going to be terrible and it wasn't, run up to that person and say, yeah, I left that comment there just to teach you a life lesson. You're welcome. And my fifth and final tip for you today is to take up as much space as you can in a shelter. Now you might be watching this video and going, Chad, how's that going to make you the most popular person on trail? How's taking up all this shelter space possibly going to make you a popular person? How's this going to win people over to you? Well, you got to think about it logically. The reason these people are out on trail is to get back to nature. They're not there to have home comforts like a roof or shelter from the elements. They're there to get into their tent and take the full force of nature, whether they want to or not. It's very easy for people after a couple of days of walking in the rain to get weak-minded, and you're not going to let that happen on your watch. So you've got to make sure that people don't use shelters as an excuse to try and get out of experiencing nature at its rawest. In the end, they'll come around to your way of thinking. They'll say, you know what, they were right to take up all that shelter space. It was better off for me in the long term to get used to the elements, to get used to being cold, to get used to being in the mud and being wet, instead of remaining dry and perhaps not suffering from hypothermia. So it's as simple as that. Follow those 5 tips and there's no way you can fail at becoming the most popular person on trail and making heaps of friends. Have you got any other ideas on how people can make friends on trail? Leave them in the comments down below. If you like this kind of video, please leave a like. Please consider subscribing to our channel and share this video to anyone that you know that likes camping, hiking and adventure travel. And for now, that's it from me, Chad Parks. I will be back in the next video. Take it easy, ultralighters. These dweebs aren't going to come up to you because they're just too nervous. They're not used to social interaction with an alpha like you. So